Bunzerelli Show.
Of course, my co-host, Khiim. Khiim, thanks for being here, buddy.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Funny thing, in the time we've been doing the show, granted, we've done a lot of revisits. We sat next to each other and watched Avengers Endgame, but this is the first time, and we did Mandalorian together, and maybe we knew a lot of stuff coming, but this is the first time Khiim has actually texted me and be like, bro, did you see that? So, Khiim, what do you think about this episode of WandaVision?
I think it was very clarifying. It gave us a lot of clarity.
Yeah, a lot. Like it was one of the things, the first thing they did to throw us right back into, like, it almost was like a little wake up call, like, hey, you're back in the MCU.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden Monica Rambeau, which is a lot easier to remember than Geraldine because he blew that like 5 times last week. But Monica Rambeau coming together from the snap. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, they brushed upon it in Spider-Man Far From Home, but they didn't really show the impact or the chaos that it might be. It was more like an afterthought joke.
Yeah.
And then they kind of rolled with the Spider-Man movie and just, but it actually showed like the impact that it had on the world.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opening scene, and it definitely set a good pace for that episode from what we've been used to so far. Mm-hmm. It gave like just a good tone. Good tone to start on.
Yeah, and the other, it was like, hey, MCU, no, you're here. Don't be confused. This is really the world. But what it also did was, because now Monica, but Geraldine, so instead of just saying like, oh, she's a secret agent, oh, she's a sword member, it's like, wow, we got a history on her. And of course, she's Maria Rambeau's daughter, who of course was Carol Danvers' best friend, aka Captain Marvel. So there's a history behind her. And I even thought that was kind of initially, because I remember hearing that was going to be Monica Rambeau, and I was thinking like, well, that's a little kind of forced. But once you said like her mom made sword, and that kind of makes sense because you were in touch with Captain Marvel, that would inspire you. Yeah. That would, so I could kind of see, like, it didn't seem like it
didn't seem forced.
Yeah, it wasn't like let's milk Captain Marvel. No, it was just like cool, and it gave her some interesting, like, it made her more fleshed out with stuff we already knew.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we had to like, so now we got to know the one side of her, and we've already seen the other side of her. So it was just a good, like, really quick, like, character development for her.
Yeah, and it definitely happened quickly, but it was done right.
I had one like idea, but I kind of get it because I was a little confused about like, we saw Nick Fury at the end of Far From Home, and it was like, hey, it was like we saw Nick Fury, and he's like, okay, and it wasn't even like I pointed it out right in our face, but everybody was like, oh, they're going to go do sword, they're going to do sword. I still don't know if he necessarily was doing sword, because he was hanging out with a bunch of Kree, and then I was like, well, didn't S.H.I.E.L.D. fall apart? But S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. is sword. I always assumed sword was the next level of S.H.I.E.L.D., but maybe it's not.
Well, I did like a little bit of research because I like just once because I still haven't seen Captain Marvel, so
right.
With that opening scene, I always watch everything with the subtitles on. With that opening scene, the kind of like background voicing you heard was a conversation between Captain Marvel, her mother Maria, and then her as a child. So it was saying those things, and it kind of gave me that before it even started saying that she was Rambeau.
Gotcha.
So. But I did a little bit of research, and it was saying that sword isn't a part of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
That Maria Rambeau specifically made sword by herself. So I don't know if that's going to carry through to this, or if they're going to make it to where Nick Fury is in control of it, but they are two separate entities.
Yeah, because even we had this conversation about Spider-Man Far From Home. It was like, what is Nick Fury's deal? Because what is S.H.I.E.L.D. right now? Besides the TV show, like, what is left of it? Who do they answer to? But if you actually have this fully intact thing that was, I know S.H.I.E.L.D. is a lot older than sword.
Yeah.
Because S.H.I.E.L.D. is Captain America's girlfriend, Sharon Carter. So that goes back to the 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas sword would be Blockbuster Video be like the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's how hand in hand were they, but not as infiltrated by Hydra. I don't think that was a risk. I don't know. When you actually, I didn't think about it till the second time I watched it. When you think about like Maria went in for surgery and her daughter falls asleep next to her, and then she wakes up, her daughter's gone.
Yeah.
And then the daughter wakes up and the mother's gone. If you actually really think about how that went down, it's like really freaking.
Yeah. Like I said, they captured the chaos of like you said, they captured the chaos of the effect of the snap really well.
Yeah, and the snap back. And that goes to a Vision theory. If I'm gonna drop when we start talking about Vision, I'm gonna tell you a snap theory I had.
Okay.
But we jump in. She gets right back to work. I like director Tyler Hayward because he wasn't like, I don't know. He just seemed like a natural character. He was cool. He was like, hey, it wasn't like, hey, your mom made these rules. It's not me being a jerk. There's no power struggle here. Plus, it shows there's too much going on for all that. It's just he's there, and want to put you back to work. Your mom said anybody that comes back from the snap can't go to space.
Yeah.
And she goes, and they show her, and she it's FBI director. It's I think it's Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo
from Ant-Man, who actually opens up with the same card trick that Ant-Man showed him. He learned, and at first I was like, not at first when I saw it, but at first when they started saying all these characters are going to be in there, like Kat Dennings from Thor, Agent Darcy, I was like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to squeeze, but if you really think about it, like all these background characters, they've kind of been weaved through pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
It doesn't even the doctor from Thor, and all of a sudden he's in Avengers. I mean, these are top military scientists, so it's cool. I mean, he was in the FBI. That's why he was watching Ant-Man. It's the FBI situation.
Yeah.
They bring in Sword because it gets a little hairy.
And to me, it works well just because that was always like kind of the question we had was like, aren't these superheroes all in just different boroughs of New York? Why don't they ever see each other?
Yeah.
So I think it works well with that because,
Yeah. It's but I liked him, and I liked so they show him and Monica starting to actually investigate the Westview.
Yeah.
I didn't understand one thing. Tell me if you saw it different than me.
Okay.
So is the actual town they're looking down the road, is that Westview? Or is that Eastview and the empty part of the road? That part I got a little confused about. Because if the cops don't believe Westview's there, what do they think that road goes to?
Yeah.
Or do they just see an empty road?
Yeah, that part I wasn't sure either. I didn't think about it the first time I watched it. I actually watched this episode 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the first time I didn't think about it. Second time I did, and I didn't understand it either.
Yeah, I just didn't... I didn't get it clear, and I don't think it's like sloppiness. I think it's just something that wasn't clearly told in the story.
And I'm not sure if they don't see the illusion at all, or I don't know. Maybe they see something completely different.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah. Maybe it's just mirage, or they don't see it's there, or they just even the front half of the road there. I don't get it, but they bring in Darcy from Thor, and then she starts catching a signal.
Yeah.
And putting together what's going on. And that part it's kind of cool because it went through. So I think, well, first of all, they're asking the questions we've been asking, which was cool. He's writing down, isn't Vision dead? Isn't Vision dead?
Yeah.
Is Vision alive? They're doing the whole investigation and everything. But,
yeah, it was like almost like, her character, was she Dr. Lewis and then Agent Wu. It was almost like they played the audience during that episode.
Yeah.
They were saying a lot of things that we're wondering and just, putting forth out those questions. So I want to say that we're probably going to get answers to all that pretty soon.
It did clarify some things. We were kind of on the thing that the people are real, and then it was like, they are real.
Yeah.
They're real missing people, so they're accounted for. They're not... I don't think they're like prisoners or some people that disappear. Well, I mean, they are prisoners, but they're not. They haven't been. They've been pulled for that event.
Yeah,
they're just in the. The other interesting thing is still, why is there like a broadcast of it? Is it just part of whatever Wanda's? If it's still, I mean, at the end of it, Monica says it's all Wanda, but we're still getting this Hydra, and even like through this episode, it would still show like everybody at Sword working on it, and then it would do a quick scene of that
guy we saw sitting in that room.
Yeah, they showed the Hydra commercial,
You know?
and it seemed like they were analyzing everything. It's like, how did they, nobody,
Yeah.
But so it's like, it goes to two things. Is it an Easter egg? But it can't just be an Easter egg for the sake of being an Easter egg. But there's also, Wanda has her relationship with Hydra.
Yeah.
So it could be a subconscious thing because it's part of, I don't know if it's the beginning of her, but it's like what brought her in touch with the Avengers, Ultron, a big pivotal point of her life.
Yeah.
Was the Hydra stuff. But, or is Hydra still involved? That part I'm not kind of getting clear.
I believe so. I believe so, because they're still hinting to somebody else being outside or interfering.
Oh, you were right about Darcy being, you were right about Sword being the ones on the TV. Because I actually watched it again. And I was like, oh, there is a Sword logo. Before I actually saw Darcy is the one looking at the scene. It's kind of cool because in the trailers, they showed the scene that went down with Monica. And I was like, wasn't there a scene where you actually see her flying through town? And they showed it in this team, but they see how that thing finished. And all of a sudden, Wanda goes full Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Like full curled up hands, cosmic energy. And it was pretty intense. I like the way they paced it, where like in the real world, they're all of a sudden, the breach, the anomaly's been breached.
Yeah.
Like, where's Rambo? And all of a sudden, like, they see on the show, it freezes and they show it. I mean, it was cool the way they edited that scene.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the things that was made clear is every episode is a day. I feel like that's what I caught from it. I feel like, because I feel like they were just there for, you know what? I got to look back at it again. But it seemed like every episode was a day. And just because they're watching the 4 episodes we're watching, so they're not watching anything happen in between.
No,
it seemed like every
and
episode,
it almost I want to even say we got more information than they did.
Yeah,
the way it was being broadcasted to them.
Yeah, and it's funny. And when Wanda does her thing where she rewinds the scene or something, it's like now we actually see what that looks like. For the signal. I just don't get the purpose of the signal. Or is that an after effect of what Wanda's doing? Like, Wanda so wants to live this TV world that she's making this broadcast. It's like even the guy said it was like a CBM. It was a cosmic, I don't know if I'm saying those letters right.
Cosmic microwave background radiation.
Yes, that's CMBR. Yep, that's exactly what they said. And it was like, and they said it was related to the Big Bang. So it goes back to is like the creation of the universe. So is Wanda actually creating? What is she creating? Because even if you say it's TV or the things going on, like the beekeeper, he goes up through the sewer, and all of a sudden his lanyard becomes a jump rope.
Yeah,
that's not a special effect. That's actually reality changing stuff.
Yeah,
same as the drone helicopter.
The helicopter, yeah.
And they actually mentioned it because we said Iron Man colors and stuff, and it still would be, but if we throw the blue on it, all of a sudden you realize it's Captain Marvel colors.
Yeah.
Because you didn't. But Monica is the one who picks out Captain Marvel's colors.
Yeah.
So that was a little like throwback to that. So we've seen what happens with Monica, but now here's the big, and I think this might have been their Baby Yoda moment, because I saw it was like, oh, I did not see that coming. But the freaking Vision with his head ripped out.
Yeah, the Mind Stone, yeah.
So there's a couple. Well, it's first of all the show saying, yeah, we know. we know he was killed. Yes, there's, we didn't forget, which obviously it didn't.
Yeah.
But it's not like phrase. This really happened. Wanda knows this really happened.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. But then the other weird part of it is, so now I'm like, well, is Vision just an extension of Wanda? But I still am holding to he's something because first he goes, we don't have to stay here. Yeah. So what it makes me think, okay, Vision knows.
Yeah, he's still coming in from that conversation with Herb and I forget.
Not Gladys. I know who you're talking about. This is going to be a gas, that neighbor.
Yeah.
But there's still his reactions. But even now, I thought he was going to throw us for a twist, because first I was like, well, maybe the thing with the neighbors was Wanda's actually running Vision and Wanda. But there was a moment where Vision looked concerned at Wanda.
Yeah.
And like made it look like he didn't want her to see. He's like, and then he put on a fake smile and sat down.
Yeah.
So it's
still showing that he has some like awareness or like, he's sentient at some some level.
Whatever he is, he's his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some questions, and I gotta be fair. I've seen some stuff where Vision's like, "What's on the outside of this town?" Like I've seen some future trailers. I gotta like really stay off of Twitter, but it's the trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a phone call coming in. Hang on.
Okay, nice.
Hey, how's it going? Bob?
Hey, what's up, Bob?
What's up?
What'd you think? What'd you think about this episode?
Oh, I loved it. It was cool. It was like an Avengers movie as opposed to what we've been watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it brought us right back into the mix, like opening up with the Endgame stuff.
Yeah, and it was funny too. Like you said, the Endgame when they did when they showed everyone coming back, I had a little confusion. I was like, wait, is this a prequel? Because I forgot like the order of the movies.
Yeah.
Trying to think like which movie was it where they all came back, and I was thinking maybe Vision is actually still alive, but then they cleared that up. I was like, oh no, that's right, that was just the last Avengers movie where it happened.
Yeah, I only have one theory about possibility when I was talking about the snap, because one of the things was, but it's kind of far, and I don't even know if I'm too happy with it, like when I say it, is like, because when Hulk did the snap, he tried to bring back, he made it very clear he tried to bring back Black Widow. And that's what burned his arm. Like, he tried to break the rules a little bit. But would bringing back Vision break the rules as much? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that Hulk thing. I don't remember that.
No, Hulk says at the end of the movie, they were like, I tried to bring her back. And then somebody else told me, and this is a lot of it's, I don't know exactly where it came from, but the reason why Hulk struggled so much, even being Hulk, is because he tried to like go outside the thing and break the rules and bring Black Widow back. But I don't know how much weight there is to that.
Right.
But why would you say, hey, bring back Vision too? Just slap her in there. But
You know what my theory is on? I'm trying to think with Vision, like, all right, how is he arguing against her if she's pulling all the strings and he's dead?
yeah,
Exactly.
How is he like the playing devil's advocate or whatever? I was like, well, maybe because didn't he originally come from in Ultra? He was like a robot, or came from the computer Jarvis.
Yeah.
Thing too. Isn't he part Jarvis?
he's Jarvis, and it was like Ultron made a body he was going to put himself in. The Avengers got a hold of the body, and then that's when Tony and Bruce Banner were like, yo, let's put this AI, we got some fragments of Jarvis, let's put it in Vision, which is why Vision, Paul Bettany voiced Jarvis, but that's why Vision's got that. Yes, Vision is part of Jarvis.
So I wonder if that's how she got him in there.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something with like maybe there's a backup of Vision somewhere that she grabbed. You know what I mean?
It's possible that he like saw what was coming and made a backup of himself, or Wanda was able to find. I don't. The Vision stuff's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, that throws off, but like in a good way, because otherwise because in the beginning it was, you're like, okay, well Wanda's doing it, and then Vision's there, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure, and then the guy calls in saying, who's doing this to you?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not Wanda. And then this episode, it was cool seeing him, the other side of it, where he was making the call. And you're like, oh, okay, well, at this point, they're still as confused as we are. So he's just guessing
Yeah.
that someone's doing this to her.
But I really want you guys to go back and watch this episode again. They're doing it real slightly. It's literally like a second, 2 seconds. They're doing these breakaway scenes while they're showing Sword, and it's this breakaway scene to somebody else who is also observing it.
Somebody that's not Sword?
That's not Sword. It's breaking away to somebody else, a guy who still you're seeing the same guy from behind who's got a monitor in front of him, and he's writing notes, and he keeps closing his little notepad.
That wasn't. Darcy?
I don't believe so. No, that's not Darcy. That was not Darcy.
Okay. I'll check it out again.
It's literally a couple of seconds. They keep breaking away to it.
Okay.
And then she even kind of is like mentioning like somebody's throwing something to interfere on this.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of these take 2 watchings. Some of these episodes take 2 viewings to catch stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you miss. One thing is we know the couple, because we were talking about them and like the actual concern like she had about the choking. Whatever their knowledge of what is going on, they are a married couple. So if, like the idea of like, you know, there was a genuine like worry. Now we kind of got our answer to that.
Yeah.
All these people are real.
Yeah.
But, here's another thing going on. So, and I think we're going to get the answers in the next few episodes, because now we're on episode 5, and I think it's episode 5, right? Stuff's going to start ramping up now, obviously.
Or 4.
2 in the beginning. 3 was now in color. So maybe this is 4.
Yeah, this is 4.
Okay, yeah, we interrupt this program. That's the name of this one. So, you know, I've been fighting the Spider-Man thing, but I got in my head, like, I need to go find what's been confirmed about the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
Because now it looks like this multiverse stuff is happening, because now it's been pretty much, they're hinting at we're forming reality. I'm expecting to see Doctor Strange in this show. Mm-hmm. Because he's slated to have Wanda as a, you know, character in the Multiverse of Madness. Well, they're saying the word Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
That is they printed that title.
Yeah,
they
like
showed it
sure.
at like expos and stuff. So that's definitely happening. I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange is slated to be in the next Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
So I have to gather what actors, I mean, we could talk about it. I got to figure out what actors are confirmed and what are not, because I've heard Alfred Molina doing Doc Ock. I've heard the 3 Spider-Men. I've heard Vulture. Mm-hmm. Emma Stone, who I would love her Gwen Stacy back.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen, I'll take that.
Yep.
But
oh, wow, that'd be awesome.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
do a live action. Well, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the rumors are, and it's getting. I mean, they're filming that Spider-Man now. They're going to bring back the 3 Spider-Men.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and at first it was like, well, it all sounds great and good, but it's like, well, but even Endgame sounded a little like over the top when you first talk about it. Mm-hmm. But then when you actually see it, it's like, oh, they pulled it off.
Yeah.
It gets a little scary when you get Sony involved, but the thing is Marvel's still involved, and the other thing is there's another 3 Spider-Man movies planned for after this. So it's like, because I'm like, you're going to finish, like, because I was all about the finished Spider-Man trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like, finally, let's get the 3 Spider-Man, the trilogy with a beginning and an end. And then like, well, they're going to go off in this and bring this whole big thing, which is going to be cool, but it doesn't end Tom Holland's Spider-Man story.
Yeah,
it's just like here's a big like birthday cake, which is great, which is awesome. But if he's getting another trilogy after that I like, because then you could make another story with him and maybe remove him a little bit from the Avengers stuff.
Yeah.
So I could handle that. I am looking forward to seeing Doctor Strange again, because it's been a while since we've seen him.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. So if so we know Doctor Strange had like a really big hand in what was going on in Endgame. And
yeah.
He had a higher knowing of what was going on. What if he did something with the Vision or the Mind Stone?
Yeah, he'd be somebody that could do something as crazy as what's going on.
I feel like what's happening, because whatever is happening isn't right.
Okay.
I don't think Doctor Strange would be like, yeah, like
Yeah,
bring him back. Vision is one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think. I think what it's going to be is there's going to be a scene where it's like we had to call in some help, and Doctor Strange shows up.
Yeah.
At what point it breaks from that thing happening to the Doctor Strange movie? Because I still want it to be kind of a clean break. So my idea is a way the story might end is, the big culmination, and then Wanda freaks out and the whole town's gone. The happy ending is the people are free from the thing. And maybe Wanda's not a straight bad, but, it's still a little out of her control.
Yeah.
But when this thing wraps up, if at the end of it she loses Vision again, if like even she said to Vision's like, we go anywhere. She's like, no, you can't. I read into that.
Yeah.
I read in there's some reason they got to be there.
Yeah.
Either there's something she's accessing or there's something in that point, but Vision's got to be there. Maybe Vision is the one that needs to be there.
Okay.
Like there's some, I have no idea why. I have no theory, but it's like she has to stay there because of Vision. Because if she could go anywhere. So if this thing blows up in her face and all of a sudden she loses Vision again, that would drive her nuts and start. If she made a small universe, because even it's not like, you could say, well, is it really a universe? But she's got these people in a trance. And she's got lanyards turning into jump ropes.
Yeah.
So it's her. But if she lost her stuff, if she went bananas, she could do some damage.
Yeah.
So there's still got to be that clean cut where you end the show and not make it just a trailer for the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah. Oh, and there was actually something I wanted to bring up that I feel like the way they put it into the show is kind of seamlessly done where I feel like people didn't catch it. So just not even to jump all the way around, to go back to the very
jump wherever.
To go back to where now I want to call her Geraldine, to where she first meets.
At least we said it right. Monica.
Monica Rambeau. To where Rambeau meets Wu for the first time.
Yeah.
He mentions that he's looking for somebody that they had in custody, protective custody.
Yeah.
So I want to know what that person, like, what part that person plays into it. Because it's in that town or in that area, and then that's when he stumbled upon what he called a wrinkle, you know?
Okay, Agnes is still that one kind of weird key neighbor. I have a little mini prediction. First of all, I'm back in with Thanos being showing up because it's the reality thing. But what if Ralph's part was never written for, and all of a sudden the beekeeper? You never saw what happened to the beekeeper.
No, we didn't.
You've seen what happened to Monica. You didn't see what happened to the beekeeper. So what if it's all of a sudden the beekeeper is Ralph?
Yeah.
Because like, oh, we got somebody to play Ralph finally.
Yeah.
And they show him. But the thing is, you didn't see his face too much where you would see the scene and see him. That's another question. So here's what's going on. So how aware of Monica is of things when she's in there? That's a question. Because it's like, I still feel like when she said, like, he was killed by Ultron, like, it seemed like you could see in her face, she's like she realized it, like she just remembered it or snapped out. So I think there's some kind of trance they go in when they get there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she was just going straight undercover. I think she really was just fell into the role.
Yeah, it's definitely like she stated before she went in, there's some sort of amnesic effect, you know? Even from the outside. So definitely I would assume when you go in there, you don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And it just seems kind of like in waves, people are in there. But then I don't know, you look at the other neighbors and the other neighbors kind of seem, well, certain ones of them seem to like know more. Like Herb straight up said, like, we're here because we have to, or whatever he said, and he stops. Like she stops from the
Yeah, so did Monica warn them, or did they kind of know?
I don't think so, because they were sending her down the river.
Yeah.
They were like, no, she's not good. She's not from here. So they know, but they're willingly going along with this program, whatever it is.
One thing was about that, because I was curious too, like how aware are they, is when she gets thrown out of it, like she's immediately back to normal.
Yeah.
And there is no haze, like, oh, wait, where's Wanda? What am I doing here? She's just like, holy crap, that's all Wanda. It's all Wanda doing it.
Yeah.
Like she had it seemed like she knew exactly what was going on then, and she was completely aware of everything she was seeing happen in there, which doesn't answer, was she playing along or not? Like that doesn't answer that, but I figured she'd come out all dazed. It was strange that she didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the other part of that is if you come back and you get your Monica memories back, you still have your Geraldine memories back. So it's still like I didn't know it at the time, but I've come back and Monica's back and my brain's back, but I still remember everything I saw in there. Mm-hmm. And I've been following the situation, and she caught some weird stuff a couple times, even in the black and white one, the second one. The magician one, where she straight up came out of that box. that was weird. I was backstage.
Yeah.
I believe that was actually the first episode she appeared in. But she's like, that was weird. I was backstage and I appeared. And then even with the big thing was the subtle thing was when she heard the stork squawk and she freaked out. Mm-hmm. She was like, what was that? She like broke character.
It's almost like some of the characters like backseat drivers. Like they're there, but they're not in control. They're there. They're seeing everything coming, coming forward, but they just don't have control of the steering wheel. And then there's moments where they're jumping into the seat and like, wait, what's going on? And then they go right back to the back seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the 70s show Mother.
Yes.
That remember a few episodes. I think it might have been the first episode actually.
Yeah, it was
like,
the choking.
Some drama going on. Yeah, there's a drama at the table, and she's trying to like rein everybody in. Like it seemed like she was in on whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe either in on it or aware of it. That part I'm not sure, but there was something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my theory with that was like she was playing her part that she thought she needed to play, but when it got to a point where he was choking, she didn't want to break her character, but she was looking at Wanda saying, stop it, like, I know you know how to stop this. And then there was like that relief in her, and then they just kind of went back and the character goes, well, we got to keep going, and that was my thought on that. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing moving forward is that we're in this position now, and the thing that's going to change next episode is because what we've had is this. What we've had is we've had the show, we've had the outside world discovering the show. The thing that's going to change things now is next episode, we're going to get Monica's side of the story.
Yeah. And
we're going to get her insight, and she's going to tell us what she experienced. So I think that's what's going to change things. And then you're going to start, when you get back to the sitcom, it's not going to be the same because, like, hey, we know cat's out of the bag. So I think that the mystery is going to start unraveling on that side. But I'm really psyched about that show. I want to thank everybody for being on the show. Khiim, always great having you here. Bob, you're doing a record for, I got you once on season 1, twice on season 2. You've done like 5 shows on season 3. So you've you've gone from seasonal member to part-time. So we're going to send you some paperwork in the mail.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll keep an eye out for the check.
Yeah, there's a medical benefits package that's going to come in and everything. You got to select your put your 401k stuff and everything. But all in all, I think I like the direction we're going. Like this was a big wake up call. You could say some things about the pacing, this and that, but all of a sudden it was like boom, 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 ramped up, and now we're in. Now we're straight up MCU. It's almost like another MCU movie.
And yeah, it's there now. Like you said, the next episode now, cat's out of the bag. So
yeah,
pick up.
Yeah, it's gonna go just up from here. So excited to see where it goes. So thank everybody, Bob. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you always being a part of the show. I want to thank Khiim too. Khiim, always great having you here.
No problem.
And we will see you guys in a couple weeks.